that has also gone up manifolds, because even when it comes to the trade partnership that we've been talking about, that also, as you were mentioning about the figures, 19%, and that is the total trade about said to be around 85 billion US dollars. What is the target that we're actually looking at, and how far have we come, Chirayu?
Yeah, so both sides have put an ambitious target of trading 100 billion US dollars by 2030 non-oil. So what the figure stands around like a little over 50 billion today in non-trade. They are expecting it to double. But as Ambassador Goel was mentioning, the rate at which investment is coming from the UAE, the rate at which the comfort between Indian and Emirati companies is going, I think it is definitely achievable. Ambitious, but yes, both sides can work on this together. That's one part of it. The second part of it, Reuters carried a story a few hours ago, which said that India and UAE are both mulling over India dirham bilateral trade arrangement. And if that happens, or if there are initially even ADNOC agrees, can you imagine we would be cutting down a substantial amount of 30 billion USD worth of oil that we are actually pouring it in terms of absolute US dollars. So that reduces the
Right,
strain on our
just
forex
interrupting you,
reserves.
those pictures that are coming in, of course, because this is a very brief visit of the Prime Minister, will last just few hours. The meeting taking place between the President and the ruler of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Those pictures that have been coming in. Of course, this time around now, Suresh ji, if you can tell us the importance that is being highlighted, because even when Prime Minister 3 weeks back wrapped up his very successful US visit, he made sure that he made a brief stopover to Egypt. Now, wrapping up his very successful visit to France, he's making sure that he continues to stay in touch with those Middle Eastern countries, especially when it comes to the UAE, sir.
I'm going to keep Egypt out of it for the time being, but considering the fact that we have particularly focused on relations with the Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, etc., and considering the fact that it's not just a question of energy anymore, as the relationship used to be. It is now a very multi-dimensional relationship, including maritime navigation. And you please do remember that lots of our boats used to travel to Emirates for trade, Dhaps, and come back to Gujarat for post. And again, maritime navigation, Qatar is playing a great role in port development, oil, energy, etc., etc. So I think Prime Minister's visit to United Arab Emirates, considering that it is a 5th visit actually, ever since he became the Prime Minister, does indicate that we want to develop our relationship with the Emirates further and other Gulf countries further on various counts. And more importantly, because these countries do play a very, very important role in development in the Middle East and in Europe, as well as globally, in the area of energy and logistics, connectivity.
Right, sir.
Yes.
Chirayu, how do you believe that India is benefiting also when it comes to its relationship with the UAE? Of course, it is also India being the 3rd largest trading partner. But what exactly is benefiting from the UAE? Which current meeting that you are seeing and those pictures that we are playing out right here on the channel, what is India actually also getting on the table here?
Yes, so there are a few things that I would immediately underscore, and a lot more may come out. So the first thing that you have to keep in mind, the significance of Prime Minister flying all the way from Paris to Abu Dhabi, because you also have to remember that just few months ago, we floated another minilateral in terms of France, UAE, India joint partnership. So this adds momentum to that trilateral relationship that we have created. Apart from that, there is strategic convergence. As Ambassador Goel was pointing out, it helps us blunt the Kashmir issue that constantly comes from Pakistan on international stage, because the mall was mentioned that it has been invested in Srinagar. So that helps us blunt a lot of salvo that is coming on from Pakistan, and most importantly, the UAE's location in a very important maritime and continental theater. It stands at the cross section of the two. So from there, from the states and the waters around the UAE, a lot of trade passes. It is very important entry port, but also UAE has its own weight when it comes to the Islamic world and a lot of other blocs. And in which it operates from OIC to the GCC, and all these things make UAE important player, and this visit strategically important. Right. So that these are the factors that we need to account.
But Chirayu, hasn't been Pakistan snubbed even when it comes to their own, Muslim nations, Islamic nations, when it comes to, raising the issue of Kashmir time and again? I mean, here is the bigger picture. For India, Pakistan is a non-entity. But the bigger picture that we are looking at, especially when it comes to the Indians who have been owning their businesses and running very successful businesses in the UAE, they are also hopeful that the CEPA will continue to benefit both of the countries, sir.
Of course, definitely. But you see that what important signal this carries to far-flung countries, let's say Latin America, when a lot of Pakistan's propaganda come, is that even the Muslim countries, they are not siding with Pakistan today, which they historically used to see. So they are seeing the Kashmir issue in an entirely different light. And this allows India to say to the world that, look, things have changed. What Pakistan is portraying is not the reality. And having this said, again, Pakistan is a very, very peripheral issue here. The scope and breadth of the relationship, the scale at which we are working, both countries are working together, is very immense. And CEPA has played very important role. I was just reading statistics yesterday. Since the signing of the CEPA, there has been a 6% jump in trade, in non-oil trade. And if this momentum continues, as I said, reaching 100 billion of non-oil trade before 2030 is most likely a reality.
Right.